Hello and greetings around the world and far, wide, nearby, all my neighbors. Hello. Again, always am approaching this from a place of talking about it as it happens to me, really trying to keep my thoughts and the material here very honest and present, and not trying to I don't really have a schedule of things I write when I come up with these episodes. These little bits, they kind of happen, and then I get inspired, then I find a chunk of time to talk about it. Which has just been so good for my spirit. Just to make a personal note, it's been so nice to feel like I can speak authentically about something. Also, I have a brand new camera, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and not sponsored, but just saying that this thing's really cool. So I've been really excited to finally make an episode with this. I'm going to be 32 next week. Obviously this video will probably live on the internet. So next week, 10 years from now, will be 10 years back here now. But the point is, the process of, just life, getting older, is not very daunting to me. I've found ways to make time my friend, and even when I feel like I'm fighting against time, like I said in the last episode, I've made a lot of peace with, I think my intentions. My intentions have changed, and that's the topic of today. Why do you do what you do? Why do we do what we do? And that's very vague. So I'll say it like this. Why do we pick the paths that we choose to walk? Why do we resist, making certain decisions for our health and for the well-being of others? Why do we not trust ourselves? Why do we lie to ourselves? It's not that it's a negative thing, but I've also noticed a lot of very successful people change and pivot their trajectory because they're trying to really make sure that their intentions are aligned with their actions. And I can very much relate to that. So why do I do what I do? This came about because yesterday I heard someone say that there was once somebody who was in a position of power and influence, and they realized that the only reason why they were doing what they were doing was because of their sort of admiration and need for validation and that power and that influence. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, I can tell you I related to that so much. Why, it's like I realized that yesterday something really important for myself is, why am I doing this? And I've said before that I wanted to keep this authentic, but why am I talking to you? Why am I so curious and needing for you to receive the information from my voice when there's like millions of people or thousands or whoever that do it? And admittingly, there's a part of it that's validation. It's wanting to make sure that the things that I've lived through are worth living through. That's honest. The other part of it is, I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker. And I think the reason why was because I really looked up to people who helped others. I think a big part of my people-pleasing habits, admittingly, have stemmed from the inability to help myself. So I want to help others. And that's evolving, the more I put that into the light. And again, this isn't a confession thing. This is just, I'm trying to be honest because I want to not pretend like I have all the answers. But what I do want to do is, if there's anyone that I can reach to just have more honest conversations with themselves to live better lives. That is actually really important to me. That is the majority of why I do what I do. But I do, I would be lying if I said I didn't do the things I do in my life for some form of attention that I never received. That's absolutely true. I cannot deny that. So again, if at this point in the video you're like, fuck this, I don't want to watch this guy, whatever, totally understand, because it's true. I think about so many years of my life I've spent, and even moments still today, where I really want people to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, instead of just doing what I'm doing for the pure sake of being present with the feeling. So again, back to the topic of the video, I had to do a whole rant about myself just now because I felt compelled to be honest, to create that sense of honesty. Why are you doing what you're doing? And even with healthy things, why are you running that marathon? Why are you going to school? Why are you trying to become a musician? Why are you trying to leave the music industry, the entertainment industry? Why are you trying to start that OnlyFans? Why are you trying to, I said that really funny, but and there's no offense to that. I'm so curious why people do what they do. Because I think I am not always sure why I do what I do. Originally, it was because I wanted to have the cool clothes, the lifestyle, the recognition, but it's slowly starting to evolve into, well, I still like the clothes. But I think I'm evolving into doing things like this because it's not me trying to overexpress something, like overimpose something. I feel like being a musician and living in that world for so long, another part of why I made this video is I noticed that I lived in a community where the ego clashing is so predominant, in that culture, where you just kind of, it's like, we're just going to keep butting heads until the weaker person kind of like taps out. And, I think I've been the weaker person in a lot of those scenarios, not like trying to be down on myself, just saying like, I don't really, that's not my game. And I tried that and it didn't work. And I'm so glad it didn't, because now I feel like I'm doing things authentically. And now I feel like I'm aligning with things that are authentic. A lot of what I talk about is like falling out of alignment. So going back, why do you do what you do? Make a list of reasons. I've been making a mental checklist, and I've been starting to write some things down of like, why do I want to go to the gym? Why do I want to be a healthy person? And I'm really glad that has changed for me, because now I'm realizing it's like, I just don't want to feel weak. Like I've tried to things like, I want to look hot. I want to impress that. And every time I fall into that, me doing something for somebody else, bracket, when I fall into that, I completely lose motivation and power to do anything. And I am actually really glad that happens, because then it helps me redefine what I want to do. I've realized that I like going to the gym now, but I don't go to the gym like someone who strictly lifts and competes and does things in that fitness community. And I really hold myself to those judgments as someone would who isn't a frequent gym goer. But the point I'm trying to make is like, my health is important. And so in the decisions I make to be the person who I'm deciding to be, I'm choosing to be Anthony Nino, my nickname, Salazar, right? Because that person is just, that's a name, that's an idea. If you've never read the book Untethered Soul, go read it. And if you don't know who Michael A. Singer is, go look him up, because he changed my life just stumbling across him. And I don't even know how I found him, truthfully. Might have been going through YouTube videos, trying to, in some form of self-therapy, trying to make myself feel better. But talking about the self, and then realizing that this, like, you're just like this thing that watches you do something. Like, I know that's pretty deep, but like, there's this form of consciousness where it's like, there's like the things I can touch and feel, and right, and I'm conscious of. And then there's a thing that is observing me doing and feeling and all these things. And I really love that principle. I won't go into it. I'll leave that to your research. But I really am seeing the world change into a place where people are fighting for authenticity. And I think that that's a beautiful thing because we need ourselves more than anything in this world. As we find ourselves, we start to find new definitions for all the actions we take in a day. And we start to truly consider how they affect us, which in turn affect others. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that we are starting to become more conscious of ourselves and others globally, um, societally, communally, like in these, these micro and macro cosms. It's starting to become this really widespread thing. Like I don't always have good days. That's not why I'm here talking to you. And I'm not trying to, like, I would be lying if I said I didn't want this to be important to people, but that's not up to me, right? Like this could just fall into the dark corners of YouTube and it wouldn't matter to anybody. And I'm, again, it's not to be self-deprecating. It's this is to really have an honest conversation with myself and whoever's watching this up until this point, to really say, I have a lot of parts of me that I haven't healed and I'm healing them. And the way that I'm healing them is by defining why I'm doing literally everything that I do. Why do I have my defense mechanisms? Why am I so sensitive to the X, Y, and Z? Why am I good at X, Y, and Z? Why do I all of a sudden have these new obsessions with this and that? Why am I having a hard time letting go of this person or that thing? My journey in this human life, I really want to share. And what I'm trying to, procure from somebody and inspire and motivate somebody to do is really sit and ask themselves why they're doing what they're doing. Because if you're finding yourself in a place where you feel like all the things that you're adding onto your character, all of your effects are not translating who you are. First off, I've been there, and even quite recently. And again, you're not asking yourself why you're doing what you do. I'm trying really to keep all the things in my life extremely intentional. All the things that I wear, it's because I want to wear them, because it inspires me. It makes me excited, makes me happy. I wear gifts, like this white bracelets from my brother. I got this last year on a tour that I did that was really fun. I got this band in Joshua Tree. I got this from a flea market that's out here in Los Angeles that I was so excited to get, that I earned. Like every single piece of my person, all these things are very intentional. And it's not even that it's like stylistic. It's that it's to just, when I am putting things on, I'm not judging myself. When I'm speaking, I'm not judging myself. When I'm posting things on the internet, I'm not judging myself. When I am listening to someone speak, I'm not judging myself. When I'm having a moment alone where I'm really hurting, I'm not judging myself as severely as I used to. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I suffering? Why am I trying to succeed? Why am I trying to motivate people? Spend the time when you get up in the morning to really think about every little move you make, because it just starts to make life more meaningful. I truly believe. And I truly have deeply experienced. Last night, I had a very sleepless night. I was having these nightmares, and I woke up and was like, oh my gosh, like this is just going to be this night. And that's why I embraced that fate. But I really, was like, wow, like I'm not going to have the morning that I wanted, and I'm not going to do these things that I planned on because of this moment that I'm having, this very human experience of my brain was processing whatever thing it had to. And then I woke up with all these hurts and anxieties, emotionally, mentally. And I was like, man, like I have to process these things. And this is part of my journey. So I'm not gonna be mad at it, because why I'm doing what I'm doing is to just be human and to teach people, hopefully, because I really do want to teach people to just be honest with what's going on, because I haven't always been honest with myself and others, right? And I've said that before. I think that's a really big important thing that I've learned recently, was it's like I try to be more things than I am. And that doesn't put me in places where I can fulfill that expectation, both for myself and for somebody else. But if I was being honest, then it saves everybody time. And we all know that one, but it takes a long time for some of us to learn, especially for some of us who have issues with being validated, like I was saying earlier in the video, that self-esteem, you know? So again, think about what you do, with whether it's your career, your relationships, or things. Why are you doing it? If you're in a place of questioning it, obviously, don't go spoiling a good thing just because you watch some guy on YouTube talk about it, if you made it this far into the video. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you find yourself questioning something, it's okay to make the list. It's okay to bail. It's okay to proceed. It's okay. It's whatever you're going to do is okay. Really try not to judge yourself, is what I'm saying. Why you do what you do, whether you like it or not, is always going to change. I've been really enjoying the process of making these videos more than I have been writing songs. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop writing songs. It just means that the person who I am right now needs to be doing this. Because this, like I said earlier, admittingly, is helping me find my voice. And what I genuinely want to do, other than liking the sound of my own voice, what I genuinely want to do is to inspire people to just kind of sit with themselves a little bit more, and really challenge their ideas, challenge themselves, and know that when you're in a place of being challenged and your ego's dying, that it's okay. Ego deaths suck. I feel like I go through them a lot, but really sit and define for yourself, in anything you're doing, why you're doing it. It helps you slow down when you know that you can move through it gracefully. Because then when the things in life that happen that are sudden, and then you need to act suddenly, then you actually have the energy to expend to act upon it. But if everything in our life is always like a, climb and crawl for purpose, then we don't have energy to deal with the things that just happen. And that's a big one. A lot of us are running out of steam, socially, personally, intimately, societally, financially. We're running out of steam. And it's because we're not being intentional. So why do you do what you do? Well, look at your intentions, because intent actually is everything. It is the fundamental soil in which you plant the seeds that are your thoughts. So be intentional with everything. The way you pick up a coffee mug, the way you place down a coffee mug, the way you drive, the way you speak, every action you take, be as intentional as you can, be as aware as you can, and it starts to change your environment. It starts to make things better. Because now you're living from here outward instead of outward coming towards you. Because this is a lot of stuff, but this going outward is a little bit more manageable. And I'm telling you, if you've heard a bunch of gurus and people talk about this, a lot of them speak wise words, but the core of it is when they talk about self-love and like finding that, and then like, if I love myself and I do these things for myself, then you'll receive all this love. What it is your perspective changing, your inner dialogue is changing. And again, if you knew that already, awesome. But for people who have a really hard time understanding that, going back to why you do what you do, why do you want to be loved so bad? Oh, that's a deep one for me. Sorry, my computer did a weird thing here. Why do I want to be loved so bad? I grew up in a very loving environment. Why do I want to be loved so bad? Whoa, it's a pretty heavy one when I'm literally sending you guys a video. But it's true. Why do I want to be loved so bad? I think the reason why is because I always wanted people to see who I was. And I wanted to share that. Truthfully, I don't have any other intention. And I think, I always felt weak in my life. I felt like I didn't have enough to say. What I said wasn't important. And who I was not important. So my obsession with finding people that love me, or a community that wants to listen to me, that prospect is coming from, a part of me that maybe didn't feel fulfilled in that. So what have I been doing up until me making these videos? Well, asking myself a lot of questions, because I haven't always been consistent with myself or with others. I haven't always been honest with myself or others. So I never truly actually defined what I needed. And that put me in a lot of precarious situations where I lent myself to the whim of the universe. And obviously, like, if I was going to be in a situation that was going to harm me, and I knew that going in, there's a very high chance that things would get messy and it would hurt. And so I can't play victim to those things anymore, because it's just true. I didn't ask myself why I was doing what I was doing. So why are you doing what you're doing with anything? Don't be afraid to ask it forever, because I think that's the forever question. That's the tattoo that sits on our back, is why are we doing any of this? I don't think life is all for naught. I think a lot of it's made up. But I think the trick to awareness is, once you start to realize that everyone's just trying to, guess and figure it out, and even all the evil things in this world are a byproduct of, well, mostly just really fucking fucked up people, but like, so just poor mental health and just psychopaths. But a lot of the fucked up things that happen in this world intentionally are because of exactly that. It's the intent to harm, to receive. It's the intent to create, to play God. If you play God for yourself, or if you find God, someone to speak to, or if you, embrace yourself into a deeper part of this world, then you will start to have a different sense of purpose. So then when the trivial, monotonous chains of life start to string along, then you do not find yourself lost as often. And that's a place that I'm coming to, and that I want to share with all of you. It's okay to be lost. And it's really important to be, because, the best, sense of direction comes from when you really don't have any. You have to create a sense of direction. You have to choose a way to walk, and walk it, commit to it, go into the unknown. It's the most terrifying thing every single time. And the better you get at it, it's still scary, but why I do what I do has been changing so rapidly. And it's not a question enough people ask. Why do you suffer? Why do you succeed? Why do you want this? Why do you want that? All of it's okay, really. Like a good chunk of it is okay to want, like a good majority of it. Why do you want to change your style? Why do you want to start a YouTube series? I don't think it's wrong to do, as long as you know why you're doing it. And as long as you're honest with yourself and others while you're doing it, then we are now living in the world, like I said earlier, where all of us can finally embrace authenticity, because we're all starting to fake it less. We're all starting to live instead of act, or to pretend, acting, like we're not trying to be in a movie all the time, and that's super important. So really, I was really blown away that like when I heard that story yesterday, that someone with so much influence stepped down from that seat because they realized that they were obsessed with power and love. It really hit me, 'cause it's like true. It's like those are still things I want. I still want to be a person of influence. It's why I'm doing this. Like, but not for the sake of being just a guy on the camera. My true intention really is to help people. I want to. I love to. And maybe because there was a part of me that wasn't helped, and absolutely probably was, but more so than that, I think it's because I wasn't able to learn as a kid in certain ways that other people did. Like I didn't receive information the same way. And I wish there was someone like me for me when I was younger. So I think a big hope and intention of mine is that someone who's watching this can be like, oh, finally someone who speaks my language. And I think that's why I'm, submitting into the world of influence, because I've tried my hand in it so many times to be the funny guy, to be the cool guy, and I finally just do what I do, and when I want to do it, which feels so much better. But the point I'm trying to make is I've tried to be many different people and wear many different hats, and I'm in this place right now where I'm not really trying to do those things. I'm really not. I'm more just trying to speak and create a voice for myself and for others, to be, the voice that makes a little bit more sense, or maybe not, because this is a lot of talking. So I do this because there is someone like me out there. There is like when I was a scared 15-year-old who really thought I wasn't going to amount to anything. There's someone who, there's people who feel the same way I felt, and I still feel from time to time, and who want to hear someone who understands them. And I know that because I find those videos, I find those people who do that. And I'm so grateful for that. So go sit with yourself a bit, go get a piece of paper and write some shit down, burn it in the end if you don't care to keep it. That's always a good ritual. Write down fears and things and then light them on fire. Love that. Done that a couple times. But go ask yourself what the deeper meaning of the things that you do, not a career. Like I know I said career, but I'm like, I want to be a doctor. Why do you want to be a doctor? Why do you want to take care of people? Why do you want to sit in a place it's not always good? Not to shame that. I'm saying, ask yourself why you're willing to put yourself in the place and into these challenges, these places that will challenge you, that will not be easy. Why in the place that you're in your life with friends, with lack of, with the people hurting you, why are you feeling the way that you feel? Why do you want to do the things that you're about to do? To isolate, to step out, to speak up. Spend time and just ask yourself why you want to do that, and you're never going to feel alone in your decisions. And instead, you'll actually start to find people that align with you. I truly believe that. The more intentional you become, the more people you find who help lift your intentions, which is a form of validation, but it's true. So go on and think about that, chew on that, simmer. I'm really glad I'm thinking about it right now because I really love what I do and I love helping people. And it already has healed the part of me that needs healing. So now I'm just ready to give back because I love watching people be inspired. And because I still get inspired by this world. For as chaotic and horrible as it can be, I still find beauty in it. And that's what I want to give back. Genuinely. Go deep in your intentions. Sit them down, write them down, live with them. And I think you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised